Hello followers of Christ, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I am discussing the life of one of the Bible's most fascinating and relatable characters, Simon Peter. If you've ever felt impulsive, made big promises you couldn't keep, or even stumbled drastically, then Peter's story is going to resonate deeply with you. He was a man of immense passion, huge flaws, and incredible transformation. So, let's journey together through the life and times of this biblical giant. Our story begins in the dusty, vibrant region of Galilee, specifically around the Sea of Galilee. Peter, whose original name was Simon, was a simple fisherman from Bethsaida, though he later settled in Capernaum. He wasn't a scholar or a religious elite, he was a working man, rough around the edges, with calloused hands and a direct manner. His brother was Andrew, and together with James and John, they formed a tight-knit fishing partnership. Then came the pivotal moment. One day, while casting their nets into the sea, an unassuming carpenter from Nazareth walked by. This was Jesus. He saw Simon and Andrew, and uttered words that would forever alter their destiny. "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." What an incredible invitation. And the Bible tells us, they immediately left their nets and followed him. Imagine that trust, that immediate obedience to a stranger's radical call. From that moment on, Peter became part of Jesus' inner circle, along with James and John. He witnessed incredible miracles, healing the sick, casting out demons, walking on water, raising the dead. He heard Jesus' profound teachings firsthand. And through it all, Peter's personality shone through, impulsive, outspoken, often the first to speak or act, sometimes confidently, sometimes foolishly. Remember the time Jesus walked on water? It was Peter who, with characteristic boldness, said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he actually stepped out. But then, he took his eyes off Jesus, saw the wind, and began to sink. A perfect metaphor for his entire journey, moments of incredible faith, followed by moments of crippling doubt. Jesus loved Peter, but he also challenged him. He often rebuked Peter's misunderstandings or his rash statements. Think of the moment after Peter declared Jesus to be the Christ, the Son of the living God, a profound revelation. But then, almost immediately, when Jesus spoke of his coming suffering, Peter tried to correct him, earning the famous rebuke, "Get behind me, Satan." It shows us that even those closest to Jesus needed constant shaping. The ultimate test of Peter's loyalty came during Jesus' arrest and trial. Jesus had warned Peter that he would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed. Peter, ever confident, swore he never would. But in the terrifying darkness of that night, surrounded by fear, Peter crumbled. 3 times, he denied even knowing Jesus. And as the rooster crowed, Peter remembered Jesus' words, and he went out and wept bitterly. This was the lowest point for Peter, a moment of crushing failure and profound shame. But Peter's story doesn't end in despair. This is where God's grace shines brightest. After his resurrection, Jesus singled out Peter for a powerful moment of restoration. By a charcoal fire, perhaps mirroring the fire where Peter denied him, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Each time, Peter affirmed his love, and each time, Jesus gave him a commission: "Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep." This wasn't a rebuke, it was a profound act of forgiveness, recommissioning, and restoration. Peter's denial was not the end of his calling, it was a painful lesson that prepared him for what was to come. And what came next was nothing short of explosive. The book of Acts opens with the disciples waiting in Jerusalem for the promised Holy Spirit. On the day of Pentecost, the Spirit descended with power, filling the disciples, enabling them to speak in other tongues. And who stood up to preach the very first sermon? None other than Peter. The once fearful, denying disciple now stood boldly before thousands, proclaiming the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That single sermon led to about 3,000 people being baptized, a truly astounding beginning for the early church. From this point on, Peter emerged as a key leader in the early church. He healed a lame man at the temple gate, performed many signs and wonders, and fearlessly confronted the Jewish authorities. He was instrumental in understanding that the gospel was not just for the Jews, but for the Gentiles too, as seen in his vision and subsequent visit to Cornelius's house. Peter's journey was a testament to the Holy Spirit's power to transform and empower even the most flawed individuals. Peter continued his ministry, traveling and preaching. He wrote 2 letters that are part of the New Testament, 1 Peter and 2 Peter, offering encouragement, instruction, and hope to scattered believers facing persecution. Tradition tells us that Peter eventually traveled to Rome, where he was martyred during the reign of Emperor Nero. Legend says he requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. While this tradition isn't in the Bible itself, it speaks to the deep humility and devotion he developed. Peter's life is a powerful narrative of transformation. He wasn't perfect, he was human, prone to fear, pride, and impulsiveness. But he was also deeply devoted, incredibly passionate, and ultimately, fully restored and used mightily by God. His story reminds us that God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. No matter our past failures, our weaknesses, or our doubts, God's grace is sufficient to transform us, use us, and enable us to live lives that truly impact the world for His glory. What's your biggest takeaway from Peter's journey? Let me know in the comments below. In conclusion, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I encourage you to stay strong in the Lord and never give up faith. Remember, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. So continue to pray fervently and trust in God's promises. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with others who may be encouraged by it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more uplifting messages and inspiration. God bless you all. Thank you for watching.